Hey guys, hope you're all doing super well. So today I just want to show you guys how to burn Linux Mint onto a USB stick. So this is basically what a USB stick is, just one of these things over here. And you just got like the USB-A port over here. You can stick it into, an older style USB-A port, or you can use a dongle like this to stick it into a newer style like USB-C port, which is like, smaller, and it might even be on your phone and like other places like that. So the USB-C port is becoming more popular, but if you don't have a USB-A port and you're trying to use a USB-A stick, you can just use one of these adapters here, or something similar like that, or any kind of USB hub that does a similar thing. So uh, we're kind of gonna use this to, sorry. So we're kind of going to use this to just burn Linux Mint onto. So Linux Mint is just a type of Linux operating system. It's a really nice operating system, really easy to get started with. It's good if you know Linux really well, or if you're just brand new to Linux. And before we talk about the whole like USB thing, the burning process is like the whole reason you want to burn Linux Mint onto a USB stick rather than just like dumping the Linux Mint ISO file onto there is because to boot Linux Mint off a USB stick, one of these just like stuck into your computer, you want to make sure that you burned it on, not just like put the raw file onto the disk. Because if you just put the raw file onto the disk, you're not really going to be able to use it as an operating system. You're just going to be able to like move the file itself around, and that's not really what you want probably if you're looking at this video. So, um, if that's what you're here for, I hope I can definitely help you with that. Anyways, the steps we're gonna follow here are just downloading the Linux Mint ISO or disk image from the Linux Mint link they'll have in the description. Formatting your USB stick here. So it's good to always have more than one of these. So I just got this one for messing around and like installing different operating systems on, and you want to have like at least one other USB stick that you can use like back up your data. And then if you're ever like switching between computers, or you want to just like install, you want to just like mess around on like another computer, use like installing different operating systems, you can like use that to transfer important data that you have there. So basically, you just want one of these for messing around with, and one of these for like actually backing up your important data. So you just need to formatting your USB stick is the second step that I was talking about. The third step is installing Balena Etcher. So I'll show it to you on my screen here. It's just the software we're going to use to actually burn our USB, our Linux Mint to the USB. And let me just plug my thing back in here. And then the fourth step is just to boot into the actual. It's just to boot into the actual operating system, and they presumably install it on whatever machine you're messing around with. So um, that can just be an old laptop you have lying around, or it can just be another computer you have. But you don't want to just like have only one machine and immediately try to install Linux on that. So I can make another video about how to install Linux Mint in VirtualBox, but that's a separate thing. I don't want this video to be like 20-30 minutes long. I just want it to be hopefully nice and digestible. So yeah, so without further ado, I guess we can start actually burning your USB stick. So basically, what we kind of do is just we want to go to our USB stick and just make sure that it's like formatted in FAT32. So FAT32 is just like it's like a sort of pattern you can use, like have like a sort of special partition on your USB stick, and that just makes it so you can like burn stuff to it, and like every operating system can read that. So like Linux, Windows, Mac, you can just use the FAT32 style file system on any operating system known to man, basically. So you can just like put your thing in the FAT32, and it's not really going to pop up here because macOS just has issues with this USB stick for some reason. But what I'm going to try to do right now is just go to step 3, which is install Balena Etcher. And I've already got it here, but I'll have the link in the description where you can download it from. You can install Balena Etcher, and then what we're going to do once we've installed Balena Etcher is just flash from a file real quick. And you're going to want to go to wherever your Linux Mint file is stored. So you can just get it from there. Uh, for selecting target, that's going to be the USB stick that you want to install to. So you can click select target here. It's going to pick up your USB stick. At least it should. And then you can just check it over there, select one, and then flash it. And before I type in my password here, I just want to tell you that formatting your USB stick to FAT32, that's going to delete everything that's on the USB stick. So I mean, don't just like do that if you got really important stuff on a USB stick. You don't have any other backups. So just make sure that you've taken care of that. Mac OS is just asking for a bunch of permissions. And I'll actually speed up this part of the video here and also cut off my own video just because you don't really see my face the whole time. Okay, I'm back. So I had to like mess around with some settings there. But once you're done with this, you should have a completed flash of your USB. So it's gonna take this out here, and you'll have yourself, your gateway to more Linux exploration. You can just use this to plug into a computer, start boot it with Linux Mint, and then you can install it or just, play around with Linux Mint. You don't have to install it right away. You can just test it out, and you can go from there. So that's all I have. Thanks for stopping by and watching my video. Really appreciate it. If you like the video, definitely be sure to like it and subscribe. Leave a comment if you'd like. If there's anything that you see that could use some improvement, because I'm new to making videos. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.